Morning parents, Pastor Ben here from Chain Lakes Community Bible Church. Just wanted to send you a quick update about what we're talking about tonight at 180. So in my last few years of doing youth ministry, there's been a few things that I've noticed as trends in students. One of them is that whenever we get a group of seniors together to talk about their career in high school and youth group, one of the questions we'll ask them is if you could go back to freshman year, that first day of school, and change anything, what would be one difference about the way you lived through high school? One of the most common answers that we typically get is, I wish I wouldn't have dated. I wish I wouldn't have had relationships. And maybe it's just one relationship they're specifically talking about, but it's one of the most common things we hear from seniors is, I wish I wouldn't have dated. And that's interesting because it seems like high schoolers love having a boyfriend or girlfriend. And that's one of the other things that I've noticed, is that high schoolers don't know how to date. They love the idea of having a boyfriend and girlfriend, but they don't really know how to do it. They watch the romance movies that we as adults do, they read the same books, see the same TV shows, and they go head first into it. So you'll see a guy and a girl, any guy and girl, start dating, and before that day's up, they're saying, I love you, talking about long-term stuff, and just, they're going after it, you know? They're doing what in typical comedy romance movies you wouldn't do. Like if a guy on the first date tells a girl, I love you, I want to get married to you, that girl's running for the hills. But in high school, it seems so commonplace. I'm amazed at how many times I hear students literally within the first few days of them dating say, I love you. And so students regret having relationships, and I think it's a big part because they don't know how to have relationships. And so tonight we're talking about that. How do I date better? How do I have better relationships? How do I be a better boyfriend or girlfriend to set myself up for greater success? And with that, there's going to be two main focuses that we look at tonight. The first one is, what is the purpose of dating? Because I think a lot of times we get confused about that. And we date with no purpose in high school. But when you look at the Bible, when you read through the stories of marriage and the few stories of courting and dating, you really sort of see that the idea of dating, the idea of these early relationships is with marriage in the end. That's the end game. This hope of a future promise, this long-term commitment is sort of what dating is all about. That it's not just about, hey, I like you, you like me, we're bored, let's just have some fun for the next few months or weeks. It's really about, is this somebody I can spend the rest of my life with, finding that compatibility. And so that's what it was in the Bible. And sure, you could say, well, they had a different culture there. They still had arranged marriages a lot of times in some of those books of the Bible. But the truth is that these principles that are laid out in the Bible about how to have a healthy dating relationship are still just as applicable today. That you could say, oh, they're old-fashioned and all that, but the alternative isn't any better. So we're going to be looking at what is the purpose, because when students really understand the purpose and can find their purpose for dating, I believe it's going to help them. Because one of the things we'd love for them to see, going back to that seniors regret having relationships, regret having dating. We don't want to be sticklers and legalists, but my personal advice for students would be, don't date in high school. There's really no need for it. That sure, 1 in a million can find somebody that they meet in high school and get married, but that happens so rarely that for the vast majority of those students, it's not going to be worth the heartache, the pain, the tears. And I'm not going to tell anybody to break up. I think we have some great, strong relationships in the youth ministry. But for those that aren't in a dating relationship and are just actively looking for it, I'd encourage them to sort of reevaluate their need for a boyfriend or girlfriend. And so that's the first focus, is what is the purpose of dating? The second focus is going to be this. How do I know who to date? If I have a good purpose of dating, if I understand God's importance of it, God's sort of definition of it, how do I know who to date? In the book of Song of Solomon, it lays out in the first few chapters this courtship process between Solomon and his beloved. And so we're going to be reading the first few chapters of Song of Solomon, looking at how they go from this attraction phase, and that is attraction really that valuable to relationships, and moving into this infatuation and courting and finding out the character and finding out compatibility, because again, it's that purpose of it moves towards a long-term commitment. And so if that's the case, what do we need to know is this somebody I want to spend a great deal of time with? Is this somebody I want to give 3 months of my life, of my heart to? And so that'll be the second thing we look at. It's going to be a great night. We have some awesome things planned that, aside from the message, we're going to have great worship like always. We've got a few games. One of them is this game that I created that the crowd will hum a love song that pops up on the screen for a guy and a girl to sort of guess what the song is. It's a blast. Students love it. And it's all love songs. It'll be guys against girls. So that'll be fun. And then we're also playing a Family Feud, Battle of the Sexes type game. Tonight's just going to be a great night. And so I hope your students can make it. I hope that they'll be there a bit early, hang out with our crew. And it's a night that I think could impact their life. If they really take this message to heart, I think it'll save them a lot of heartache, a lot of tears, and a lot of pain throughout their high school time, and set them up for greater success in college and when they start having those really deep relationships. Aside from that, this past Sunday we had to cancel our student leadership meeting on Sunday simply because of the snow. So we're rescheduling that for this Sunday. So if you have a student who's wanting to be on the student leadership team, this Sunday afternoon from about 12:15 to 2 in the Caleb House, we will be having our student leadership team kickoff meeting. So we hope we'll see them there. We'll provide lunch. If your student is going to college for a weekend, that is next Thursday that we're leaving. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait. The 12-hour drive alone is well worth the event because there's going to be such great connection and bonding that comes from that. If your student is going, if they can bring $50 tonight as their sort of deposit to confirm that they are signed up, they're wanting to go, and then just the additional $50 next week when they actually get here. They can bring it Wednesday night or Thursday morning when they come. We'll be leaving Thursday morning at about 5 a.m. Sorry. We'll get down to Liberty around 6 o'clock Eastern time, register, have dinner, all that stuff. It'll be a great time. We'll be back about Sunday about 7 o'clock maybe, assuming there's no traffic and any of that. Your students, it costs $100 for the trip, and if they can bring some spending money for meals on the way both down there and back up, as well as there's going to be a few things there they can choose to do for a bit of additional money. If you have more questions about that, just email me and we can talk about that. So if you're an adult leader and a parent, we're going to be having a meeting this Sunday. We have to reschedule. So this Sunday night from 6:30 to 8:30 here at our house, going over to some more training, plan out a bit more with small groups, a few events coming up. And along with that, if you have interest in being a small group leader, we're still looking for people to fill out our 4 teams of the Student Connections team, Student Events team, Wednesday night leaders, and small group leaders. And so if you think, hey, I'd love to pour into students, we're still looking for small group leaders. We'd love for every small group to have at least 2 leaders. And we've got plenty of students who I think are going to want to be in a small group. So the more the better. If that's you, just let me know, and we'd love to go through that process with you. So that's it for today's video. Sorry for the length, but hope you have a great week and hope to see your students tonight. God bless.